Let's roll. All right, welcome to the market of the moment for the week of January 24th, 2022. Got Chris Madrid here, not just his iPhone. There's his pretty face. What's up, Chris?
What is up, man? Good to be here.
Doing well, doing well. Cold again today.
A little chilly. Yeah, a little gloomy, right?
And
A little
gloomy.
gray, a little chilly. This is like a chill at home with the fireplace and Netflix or something. I don't know.
So, all right, well, man, let's get into it. We're talking a little bit before what mortgage rates we're doing, and I know was there a big announcement yesterday or the day before?
Yeah. Earlier this week, absolutely. Just like we'd expected, the Fed came out and said, "Hey, we are absolutely bumping the federal funds rate." Give me 1 second. I mean, there's nothing like getting a phone call right in the middle of Zoom, you know. No, so the Fed did exactly what we thought they were going to, right? The part that was, I guess that was somewhat new news is, they had talked about, going from in March, right, when the next Fed meeting comes up, they were talking about going from 0 to 0.25 of an increase. And after this week's meeting, we're expecting 0.25 to 0.5 increase in March, right, of the federal funds rate. Now, again, as you know, the federal funds rate is a short-term, it's a short-term rate essentially, right? It's what banks lend to each other overnight. So it's a short-term indicator. It will absolutely impact, car loans, student loans, credit cards, any of your short-term rates. It doesn't directly affect mortgage rates. It just indirectly affects mortgage rates, right? So yeah, after that news, the market essentially tanked just because it was the part about the potential rates of going up 0.5 was unexpected. So there was just a lot of pullback in the market, and we did see rates tick up another 0.1 to 0.2. So as of yesterday, rates got up to about 3.6, and today we pulled back a little bit. We're down to about 3.56. So national average, right? We kind of talk about the differences between us and the national average. The national average right now is 3.74.
All right.
So across the board, rates are definitely moving up. We're still, it's January. We know the Fed meeting's coming up in March, right? Then there's a very good chance by the end of the year we're going to be mid fours. So if you're in the process of looking to purchase, if you're building, anything like that, those are the things that you need to be aware of, right? And be working with somebody that has their hand in the pulse. Did I say that right? Whatever it is.
Finger on the pulse.
Finger on the pulse. There you go. Their finger on the pulse of what's going on a daily basis. And, and not just a more general of, hey, I know generally what rates are doing.
So let's talk a little bit about let's talk a little bit about the new construction buyers right now, because new construction, I know we talked a couple different scenarios. So let's talk about the first one. Right now, somebody's 30 to 45 days out to close. They can look to lock the rate in, and the builders are giving them a rate. What should they do?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, they need to still compare options, right? Just because, we hear it all the time here locally, right? Working with several, just like you guys, right? Several of the top agents in the area, they get quoted one thing from their builder's lender. And then when they compare that to someone like us, there's a significant difference. So oftentimes those, the rates that they're being quoted from the builder's lenders are significantly higher. I just had one this morning where a customer that I pre-approved last year went under contract on a new build. She's about 30 to 45 days from closing, and the builder's lender's already telling her, hey, your rate's 4%. So she's like, hold on, let me call my guy Chris and see where he's at, just from a comparison standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Now they are giving her, $2,000 or $3,000 in closing costs, but I mean, ultimately, I think I quoted her about 3.5%, so we're a full 0.5% lower in interest rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just from a number standpoint, if you're financing $300,000, right, over a 30-year period, you're going to, at a 4% rate. So at a 4% rate, you're paying a little over $216,000 in interest over the life of that loan, right? And that's at a 4% rate versus, versus 3.5% over a 30-year period. You would have paid $185,000 in interest. So the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, whatever they're offering her, I mean, it's a moot point because she's going to make it up in no time in interest savings, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what is that, a $45,000, almost $50,000 savings?
Yeah, a lot different than $3,000 or $4,000. We always tell our buyers, you're paying for that over the course of 30 years, and it's going to be a lot more than what they're giving you now. So, so the next scenario is, so I guess the message here is you're 30 to 45 days out with your builder. You still should reach out to a lender that you get, Amy and I are always going to send you toward Chris. We know other realtors have good lenders as well, but it doesn't hurt your credit to have them go ahead and run some numbers for you.
Yeah, minimal. Yeah, for sure.
And I know personally, Chris has beat several builders, and my clients were smart enough to know that, maybe I'm getting $7,000 in incentives up front, but I'm going to pay $85,000 for it over the course of this life of this loan, and it just really doesn't make sense. So our second scenario with new construction is we're sitting here talking about rates ticking up over the next 8 months. It's also taking 6 to 8 months to build a new home right now. So I've got a lot of buyers asking first what the process would be to do an extended lock. And I want you to talk a little bit about financially what that looks like. Is that a smart move right now with the way rates look like they could do? So
absolutely. Yeah. So traditionally, whenever you're purchasing a home, right, your most common rate lock terms or periods are 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, and 90, right? So you can do all of those, really any of those, depending on when you're looking to close, right? So your traditional rate locks, you can lock up to 90 days. And again, the longer you lock, right, the slightly higher the rate's going to be versus like a 30-day lock. So if you can lock something and close within 30 days, that's going to be your best execution rate that's available, right? Because again, that's what's available now, and most likely over the next 30 days, it may or may not change that much, right? It could go up a little bit, it could go down a little bit. As you get further out, you're essentially hedging, right? You're betting that rates are going to be higher in 90 days. So you want to lock in as close to what's available now for a longer period. Well, on new construction, a 90-day lock doesn't cut it, right? So guaranteed rate specific, we have longer lock rate options where we can do 6, 9, 12-month rate locks. And the benefit there is, again, if we're projecting, if we're say around 3.5 today, and we're expecting that rates towards the end of the year are going to be 4.5 %, well, you can still do a longer term lock at a slightly higher increase, but again, you're still going to be well below what the projected locks are going to be next year, essentially, right? So yes, there is definitely reason to inquire about it, right? For one, and then two, it's just, again, the more the more more information you have, the better you are, right? We talk about that all the time. There's a lot of stuff that's out there, right? Just you got to work with somebody that has the options, right? Because a lot of from what I've seen, a lot of the conversations that I'm having is the, a lot of the lenders for the builders, they don't have these long-term options.
Yeah.
So they're not even offering it because they don't have it, right? So again, you work with somebody that's able to kind of facilitate these type of options. But yes, in general, based on where we're projecting the market to be, it would be a good idea to explore a 6, 9, 12-month lock term right now for sure.
All right, and I think in our previous discussion, you mentioned a one-time opportunity.
Yeah, if rates drop significantly, yeah, absolutely. If rates drop significantly before closing, we can do a one-time rate renegotiation. Absolutely.
All right. You got anything else on mortgage rates before we move on?
Man, the only other thing that we're still talking about second homes, right? We mentioned a few weeks back that the rates on second homes were going to jump significantly. And that's coming up. February 1st essentially is the last day that you can lock in current rates for second homes. And ultimately you start to close before March 1st.
Okay.
So we have about,
Tiny
2, 3, 4, 5 days to, a week or so to go find your second home, get your rate locked in, get closed before the end of February. Or else again, at the end of the day, it's not going to prevent you from buying one. It's just going to cost you a little bit more. So.
All right, let's move on to our current real estate trends. Going to talk a little bit today about when is the right time to sell. People are always asking this question. The response right now is it's always a good time to sell. Almost any condition your home is in right now. But if you're trying to decide when to list your house, the time is right now. Seasonally, this generally is probably not the time to sell. But the data really, if you're a numbers person and a data person, which I am, selling now makes a lot of sense. So let's take a quick look at some of the numbers. So remember, these are national numbers. So I would probably say our DFW market would be at the higher side of these most likely. Our market probably helps bring some of these numbers up. So these are from realtor.com and from Showing Time, which for those of you that don't know what Showing Time is, that's an app that a lot of real estate agents, multiple listing services partner with. And they basically can keep track of inventory, buyer traffic, and that kind of thing. So that's where these numbers are coming from. So from 2021, coming into 2022, the buyer activity is up 12.5%, meaning that you've got more buyers out walking through houses, actively looking to buy. So buyer activity's up 12.5%. And then you team that up with a low inventory. We've been talking about low inventory since August when we kind of got started with this little project. But inventory is down over 25% from last year, 26.8%. So there are more buyers than there are homes to sell. That's basically what this data is telling you. So meaning that your house is going to be in high demand. And so if you've ever had an issue selling your home, definitely now is, a time as well. If it backs up to busy streets, things of that nature, doesn't seem to slow the buyers down right now. The next graphic is our multiple offers. So nationally, this is from the National Association of Realtors. Nationally, you've got 3.8 offers received on every listing, which means buyers are competing for that house, meaning that they're going to be putting their best foot forward, their best offer forward, which what that's meant in the DFW market is often you're getting your title policy paid by the buyer. They're not asking for that 1-year home warranty, doing short option periods, sometimes not at all. But 3.8 offers, and I imagine in Dallas that number's more closer to the 5 to 6.
Yeah, even if not more than if not more than that. Yeah, one thing to jump in and interject there too is I'm hearing from other other listing agents similar to you guys is they're essentially they're no longer countering offers, right? If they have, I have a client right now, a buyer that's, submitting an offer on a home. I reached out to the listing agent. He's like, man, we have 21 offers. He's like, and we're not countering any of these. Like, we're just letting them know, hey, we're cutting offers off at Friday at 6 o'clock. And, ultimately whichever one the seller picks, we're essentially taking, right? And it may not be one of the things that I encourage buyers, it may not be the highest one, right? So there's things that, working with agents like you guys where, the tips and tricks of submitting an offer and submitting it, very, very efficiently that gets their offer accepted versus someone else, even if they're not the highest.
Yeah, it's, in this market, it's so important to get your offer right first. If you're the buyer's agent, getting the contract filled out properly. I know the last 2 listings we received 10 to 12 offers probably on each one, but I would almost say that half of them, the agent didn't fill out the contract, correctly. And so that's a bad start. So that's very important. Kind of as you tooted our horns about knowing how to get that offer in front of and get it up there in first place. It's also important to have someone like Chris representing you on the lending side, because Chris knows most listing agents in this market by this point. And when Chris calls and says, my client's qualified, they know that buyer is going to close, because they know Chris closes deals. He doesn't just get people pre-qualified. So that's very important.
True.
When you're working with people, especially in this market. I think it's very important when the lender makes that call. Because I can say I'm bringing 50,000 to the table if it doesn't appraise, but I can't really bring it if I don't have it. And so it's nice to it's nice to be able to speak to someone that can say, yes, they're in good shape. So then the last graphic is, homes are selling quickly. This is a national average, 19 days on the market. That's not happening in DFW. I just pulled comps for a client yesterday over in the Louisville market, and I think days on market were 3, and the sales price to list price was 7 to 10%. No, 7 to 12% was your average and max. So about 10% was your average sales price.
And that's Denton. Is that Denton County?
It's Denton County.
Yeah.
It was Louisville, Flower Mound. It would have been Flower Mound High Schools. So, but that's just continued proof that our market is still hot, still going strong. So what all this data and information basically boils down to, it means if you put your house on the market, chances are you're going to receive multiple offers, and it's not going to stay on that market very long. So you need to have a plan where you're going when you list it. That's Amy and I come in as well to help you find where we're going once we sell. So as we always say, it's a bunch of real estate information out there. We appreciate you grabbing yours from us. Chris, you got anything to add?
And a lot of chatter, as we like to say, a lot of chatter out there in the market. Again, it's I always say it's super important to work with somebody local, right? I talk to customers all the time where they started with one of these big, online lenders, or a Better Mortgage, or these guys that are flashing these really low rates, or whatever it is. And they're 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the process. They haven't heard from anybody. No one's returning their phone calls. They're about to miss closing and they can't get a hold of anybody. Those are the things that, those are the things that you need to be on the lookout for. Those guys have nothing to lose, essentially, right? A quick in, a better, they've got no local presence. They have essentially zero reputation that they're worried about. It's just a numbers game, right? So they're just trying to get as many people in, close, as many as they can. But at the end of the day, they don't care. Where us, man, we work by referral. Our reputation is everything here in the local market. So, again, at the end of the day, we want to treat you like family and take care of you the best that we can. And it's important to us because we want to make sure that you tell your friends and family and coworkers and everyone else how great of a job we did. So
definitely. We'll get in touch with Chris. If you're looking at new construction, if you're getting ready to close in the next 30 to 45 days, he'd be a great resource to reach out to. Like I said, he's helped many of our new construction clients actually, do better than the builders lenders. So, and then reach out to Amy and I at 369-0873. We'll help you find that next house and get the one you're in down the road for you. So, all right, my man, appreciate it. See you next week.
Have a good rest of the week. Yes, sir.
All right. Peace out.
See ya.